Namaste students, Khushro Bhatia, I JV and Dr. Y. Chandrakala, Assistant Professor Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the assessment. When we say assessment can be invaluable in helping a teacher to identify the strength and weaknesses, okay, of each student and to guide the next step of instructions. That means there are many informal tools for assessing the various components of the reading. So no single assessment will provide insight into a reading relation skills with that a student need to learn them, okay. So, the term assessment has been widely used by the educators to evaluate, measure, and document the academic readiness or the learning programs and the skill acquired by the students throughout their learning process. So here, different terminology are there for the assessment and evaluation, such as measurement, test, examination, appraisals, and evaluations. So we use different types of terminology for while using the assessment or and evaluation. Okay, that is the measurement, test, examination, appraisal, and evaluation. Okay, there are certain learning theories which have having a conceptual framework describing how the information is being absorbed or the processed and retained during the learning. Okay, so sometimes the child student get a partial credit for or having simply having the courage to have to get out of in the to sleep and face the next day of in a better way or the here when we say different types of like assessments, that means the word assess, that means comes from the Latin word assidere, means to sit with, or the assessment is a systematic process of gathering interpretation and acting upon related to student learning and experiences from the proposed or of developing in-depth understanding what student know understanding can do better with their knowledge as a result of educational experiences. Okay, it's a process of gathering the information, interpreting or recording and using the information with the pupil responsible response of the educational task. That means if a student is assigned with with a particular task, the process of gathering the information regarding that particular aspect, how a student is able to interpret that, and what are the forms they are recording them in a textual manner and representing that particular information in a proper way. That means in all total how the child outcomes with that particular information. Okay, so when we say evaluation, that means the systematic examination of any occurrence or contemporary programs. So completely that depends how it is evaluated. Okay, So here the behavior is is a philosophy of learning that only focuses on the objectivity, observable behavior, and the how the mental activities are going on. As you know, the Piaget proposed that the child's cognitive structures increases in sophistication with the development, moving from a few initiated reflex and such as crying, sucking to having a high complex of mental activities. Okay, that means here constructive learning theory states that the process of adjusting our mental models to accommodate new experiences. Okay, so assessment are classified based on different proposed scopes. All tribute measures on the nature of the information gathered or the nature of interpretation and the in what context it is done. Okay, so when we see the different aspects of the learning, that means in education, the terms assessment refer to a wide range here of the method that educator use to evaluate, measures, and document the academic readiness, learning process, and skills acquired by the students from preschool through college and adulthood. Okay, so what is assessment refer here? Assessment refer to the wide variety of the method that educator use to evaluate, measure, and document the academic readiness or learning process and the skills acquired of the student from the preschool through the college and adulthood. Okay, so in this process the systematic gathering of the information as a part of an evaluation. Okay, so here the assessment is carried out to see what children or a student know or understand and able to do. So assessment is very important tracking process of planning next step. Okay, so reporting and involving parents, teachers, and the young people in the process of learning. So where one can get aware of what are the lacunas or the background or the problem associated with the child in a particular aspect. Okay. So when we see here the measurement is actually the process of estimating the value and a physical quantity. Okay, like time, temperature, weight, and etc. So each measurement is represented here in the form of standard units. Okay, so the estimated values of these measurements are actually compared against the standard quantities. That means the same or the simple types. Okay, so measurement is the assignment of number of a characters or the objects or a event which is compared with the objects or events. Okay, so the scope and applications of measurements are dependent on the context and the disciplines. Okay, so here how a student is using the process, that means the process of documenting and usually measurable in terms of the knowledge, skills, or the aptitude they have. Okay, relating to their regular performance, gathering the interdisciplinary source and the considering all the aspects of the student's life. So gathering information to assist in a discussion making, like screening, monitoring the students' progress, assigning the grading or ranking, which determines their own one's own effectiveness or instruction, how they are clarifying the instructions. And okay, so here we will be learning here what is the meaning of test. When we say test, it's a process intended to establish the quality and performance and reliability of something, that especially before it is taken into a widespread use. That means it's here when we say a test or examination, that may be an informal examination or a evaluation. Okay, is a educational assessment intended to measure a test taker or the knowledge or the skill and aptitude or the fitness or the classification of many other topics. Okay, so here in the educational systems, what educational professionals make distinction between assessment, evaluation, and testing. Okay, that means a test or a quiz is used to examine someone's knowledge of something to determine what he or she knows in which she has learned. Okay, testing measurement learns the skills and the knowledge that has been reached. Okay, so so here you can say in short, that means something or a series of question or exercise for measuring the skill, knowledge, intelligence, capacity or aptitude, okay, of an individual or a group, or a process or a reaction, or which identifies how a characteristic of a situation or with respect to a particular aspects going on. Okay, so different types of tests are being used, like diagnostic test, formative test, summative test, non-referred test, criterion test. Okay, so why test is actually important in a school? Testing is a part of learning, and lets students shows what they know, how they can do. Test results shows students strength, and so as a teacher you can able to know what are the subject area your student is doing excel. Okay, that means a test result shows the students weakness and strength both in a particular area and aspects where the child is having doing able to understand better way, and in which part the child is having problems. Okay, so here when we say the examinations, meaning of examinations, so take in the act of examining or stating with being examined by in education system, like written exercise, oral questions, practical test, or set of test at students knowledge skills as a, and how they present in the examination paper. Okay, That means here it's a process of examine or state of being examined, or any designed exercise has to be taken where the test of qualification or a knowledge or a subject content in a, it may be in a form of interrogation, or maybe a formal write up, or in a written form, or a practical conduct. Okay, so in today's class we have discussed about assessment. What is the meaning of assessment, meaning of examination, meaning of test? Okay, thank you, students. If you have any queries, we will discuss in the problem solving session. Namaste.